back to another episode of Dude Knits. This is James, your dude who loves to knit. Again, we're filming on the couch this time because it's comfortable and it's hot out, and the lighting I think looks good right here. I don't know. I just like the setup, so that's where we're at. Thank you again for anybody returning. I don't know if there's anybody that actually watches these, but I enjoy making them. I enjoy talking about the fiber arts, talking about knitting and kind of what I've been up to and all that great stuff. And so thank you for coming back. If this is the first time you're checking me out, I really appreciate that. Feel free to leave comments. I try to interact with folks down below. So yeah, thanks for stopping by. I don't know how long the episode will be, but you're welcome to grab a drink, grab your knitting, your crochet, whatever it is you're doing, and join me. I've got just some Quick Trip coffee here. I needed coffee creamer and groceries today and couldn't make my own coffee, so I stopped there on the way back, and that's what I got. So feel free to sit down and join me. So it's been about 3 weeks since the last time we chatted. I have been doing a lot of knitting, a lot of crocheting. I work in the higher education system. I work with student support, and so it's the time of year where we're getting ready for the new semester, and it's always hectic. The semester for my students doesn't start until this next week. However, my summer gets done with usually I say like the middle of August. It feels like summer is pretty much done, and I work through the entire summer. In fact, I think it's funny, sometimes people will say, well, what do you do in the summer? There's no students there. And I laugh and I laugh and I laugh some more, and people start to get a little worried. I'm busy the entire time. College is no longer like the high school system where if you're not taking summer classes, maybe you just have off. No, there's people there the entire time, and unfortunately with things with the pandemic and things like that, policies need to be changed and switched around, and the students often need a lot of assistance even in the summer, and so I'm busy the entire time. And knitting is something I do for fun. I don't sell anything. I don't have a business out of it. Not that I think there's anything wrong with that, because I love and I buy a lot from all those small businesses that are in the fiber arts community. I just wanted to keep it separate and keep it as a stress relief, mindful practice that I have. So yeah, I don't sell anything, and I do it for fun when things get a little stressful, and I've done a lot of knitting lately, so if that tells you where I'm at, there you go. So yeah, unfortunately, it hasn't necessarily been projects that I've wanted to finish, and I'm trying not to put too much pressure on myself, like you have to finish this project or you have to finish that project. The whole point for me is to enjoy what I'm doing, and so I will often stop myself and say, hey, are you stressing yourself out about this? You got enough stuff going on in your life that this doesn't need to be a source of stress. And so if I'm not feeling a project, I'll put it down and I won't work on it. And sometimes it will be a long time until I get done, or until I pick it back up, or until I use a certain type of yarn or a weight of yarn. I was big into socks, and the last couple weeks I've been very big into just worsted weight yarn. And I guess we can start getting into my FOs and things like that. I don't have a lot to show you because I've given away a lot of gifts, and I like to do that. But I've done a lot of Ross hats lately. If you don't know who Ross is, I encourage you to check out Smells Like Yarn. He's great. I love watching his channel. I love watching all the new yarns that come through. He's also in Wisconsin, which I think is cool, because I'm in Wisconsin as well. Although he's on the other side of the state, I still really enjoy his podcast and his website and his free patterns. Go check him out, all that good stuff. So I've done 2 different Ross hats, and then I've done 3.5 sets of dragon scale mitts by gotta look at the little pattern here. Dragon scale mitts by Erin Kate Archer. And so this is because I was buying some Red Heart yarn. And again, that's not typical, but just some Red Heart Super Saver. And I'm going to hold this up. Hopefully you can see that. There's a picture. And the pattern came on the other side of this. And so I have been loving it. At this point, I've memorized the pattern. I'm not going to show it to you because I'm not sure if it's a paid-for pattern or not. I bought the yarn and got the pattern, and it comes on a lot of the labels I've seen in my local area with Red Heart. So take a look if you really want that pattern, or I'm sure you could search it on Ravelry. Dragon Scale Mitts by Erin Kate Archer. So they label it as an intermediate pattern. Maybe. I don't know if I agree. It's one of those patterns that once you do one pair and you just follow the instructions, it comes together pretty easily. So I've got, this is a half object, so one of them, because I wanted to make it with some 100% wool just to see how it would knit up. And I've been giving these to a lot of my friends who work in offices. Maybe they're not as familiar with yarn because this is 100% wool, but most of the ones I've been giving out have been Red Heart, 100% acrylic, easy to care for someone that isn't as knowledgeable in the fiber arts community, and maybe they just don't want to hand wash, or I don't know. And since I don't know, I tend to stick with acrylic, just so it's easy for them to take care of. But you knit it up, and it's knit flat, and then you seam it together, which I thought was going to be an issue. It's really not. So you put it on, and you have this design, which looks beautiful. You can see the seamed edge right there, but otherwise it's called dragon scale because when you do the yarn overs as part of the pattern and then you put it on, it kind of looks like overlapping dragon scales. It's kind of hard to tell with this yarn, but it kind of looks like overlapping dragon scales. And it's perfect if you work in an office, maybe if you want to drive the car and you want your hands free, or you're typing and you get cold. It's worked up really well. I really, really enjoy it. The only thing the pattern doesn't tell you to do is how to seam it together. I don't mind, because the finishing, it just says fold it in half, excuse me, and then with the yarn needle, seaming edges, you're leaving a hole for the thumb gap. That's it. It doesn't tell you how to do that or what to do. And same thing with the cast on. It doesn't tell you how to cast on. It just says cast on the right number of stitches. I have found, and I've been experimenting because I've made, this is the fifth set I'm working on. I've made three complete sets already, and I have two that are half done. And I really like doing the German twisted cast on with this, and then as I'm seaming it together, just grabbing the bottom leg of my cast off edge, because that gives you less of a noticeable seam. I mean, it's still noticeable, you can see it there, but when you're wearing it on your wrist, it's not so bad. So I've done a lot of these, and two hats. So let me just show you. So if you have one skein of Red Heart Super Saver, this skein will get me a complete Ross hat and a pair of fingerless dragon scale mitts, and have leftover yarn. So, and when it was on sale, I'm like, you can't go wrong with something like this. And so I'll try to put some pictures in. I'm not good with editing, so I'm not sure where those are going to show up. They might show up like now. And if they don't, this will be awkward. Or they might show up at the end of the video, but I will show you some pictures that I asked folks to take. And so I've been making a lot of those. The hats, so this is it's finished. This is in my Bearded Pearl bag by Caleb and Justin from the Bearded Pearl. Love these bags. They're one of the Etsy shop people that I follow, small business, where they're the type of shop where you need to like write down on your calendar, get ready 20 minutes beforehand, have all your payment methods set up so that you can get in and get something before it's all gone, because naturally they do such a good job. Everyone loves them. And I love this bag. It's really nice. But it's what I was working on my Ross hat with. So this is just a Ross hat. I love this color. And I did a pair of dragon scale mitts in this color too to match. What I haven't done, what I modified with several female coworkers and friends have said they like the hats that have the little hole in the top, and so they can put their like ponytail through or their hair through. I don't know how it works. I don't have that, but I tried to make something like that, and so I just kind of didn't cinch up the end and just left a little hole right through there. So I hope that's big enough. In fact, I tried to do like a little bit of ribbing, but then you have it like this, and I'm like, did I really screw this up? I don't know. And when you put your hair through it, I don't think it'll be noticeable. I just kind of tuck it down in there. And I wanted the ribbons that's a little stretchier to get your hair through, but I didn't want it to be too big that your head gets cold, like it's a hat. I'm not sure. I probably should have followed a pattern, but I just winged it. If my friend really doesn't like it, it's very easy to take this out and just seam it up as a regular hat. So that's it. I do a 1x1 rib. I don't like any other type of rib. And actually this feels really big. Even though I didn't cast on the right number of stitches, I cast on less stitches. I think this worsted weight is just like a little bit bigger of a worsted weight. So, but yeah, I'm sure she will enjoy that, and it matches, and it really goes, I think, with her color palette. My friend has really bright red hair, natural red hair, and this will go great. It's kind of washed out. You're not getting it quite true to color. It's a little bit darker in person, and it'll go really well. So this is how much yarn was left over. I didn't weigh it or anything, but you can see that's how much was left over. That's what it started out as, and I got a hat and 2 dragon scale mitts out of that, so you can kind of see it works up really well. And I love this bag. It's one of my favorite bags. So I've done a lot of that. I made another set, a hat and 2 fingerless mitts for my friend Carolyn, whose pictures will be in here. And then I also made a set of fingerless mitts for my friend Miriam, who will be in here. I'm working on a different head project. I'm working on a snood for her, and so I didn't make the hat, but yeah, that's what I'm working on. I need to make the other one of this, and I can do, like, if I sat down, I could do the other one in a day, and I've already started. And because you knit this flat, I actually bought a shorter pair of just straight needles, which never thought I would do, because once I went to circulars, I didn't think I'd go back to straight needles, but Joann's had a new knitting needle section, and they had these shorter, I don't know, like 8-inch knitting needles, and that's perfect for this size. It's not so long that it feels awkward with your wrists as you're knitting, and so I bought a pair of those in size 7, which you need for the pattern, and I've been using that. So I will probably finish the other one today, and this is in my 100% wool, which I love. I don't mind 100% wool. I know some people think it's scratchy, but I like that texture. I like that feel against my skin, which is ironic because I have eczema, and so I tend to have issues with other things, but not wool, thankfully. So the other project that I have, technically this is a hoe, and this is in my, I think this is, yep, Fancy Boy Designs, the Marauders Map bag. I love this bag. Same thing, I'm working on another dragon scale mitts, but this is a different type of yarn. This is what it looks like before you seam it. And so you can see it's just the pattern, and then you take it and you literally just wrap it, and it will fit nicely around my wrist. It'll seam up, and it looks like it's too small, but it's not, I swear. And this is, what type of yarn is this? Oh, that's another one of the patterns. Oh yes, this is a Hobby Lobby yarn, which I try not to shop too often at Hobby Lobby. I don't agree with their business model. However, their yarn sales do sometimes get me. I'm not perfect, I admit it. Joann's is my go-to, but sometimes Hobby Lobby gets me. And so this is their house brand Yarn Bee stripe pipe. And so I have a stash of what I call my like glove yarn or my mitten yarn. And I literally just this isn't a new purchase. I've had this in the stash since last winter. And so this is 80% acrylic, 20% wool. I don't know if I would do this again. The reason I say that is this type of yarn is very splitty. I mean, it's got a nice, I don't know if you can see the halo on this. There's the design that's coming through kind of nicely. But it's definitely got a little bit of a halo. You can kind of see the halo. And it's just very loosely spun, and so it splits very, very easily. But I will seam this, and I will make another one, and then I will probably go with regular, I'll probably just go with like a comfy, cozy mitt or something like that with the rest of this yarn. Just do a regular mitten instead of this style. I have a piece of cardboard in here. This is my sister-in-law's foot. I measured it so that I will be able to make her socks. And yes, she is an adult. That's what everybody has asked me. They're like, wait, how big is that? I'm like, well, that's her literal foot. And so she is petite and a lovely person. This is a cutout of her foot so I can make her socks. What else have I been working on? That's been the majority of what I've been working on, is dragon scale mitts. And like I said, I've cranked out 3 complete sets. I've started 2 other sets, and I did 2 hats. Which has been the majority of my knitting. I did spend some time cleaning my apartment and reorganizing my yarn stash. I put actually some stuff in storage, and I have this wonderful, which I'm about to show you, wicker basket that I got from Joann's when it was on sale. And I bought 5 of these because last Christmas season I did a basket per couple. So I gave a basket to my mom and dad, a basket to my brother and sister-in-law, and my sister and brother-in-law. So I bought 4. Yep, so 1 for each couple, and then inside the basket I had a whole bunch of knitwear. Like, everybody got their own scarf, I had mittens, I had scrunchies, I had dishcloths. So a whole care packet of yarns, which I'm not going to do again. My gift knitting really is not going to... I'll probably do dishcloths because everybody likes and says they want those, but I don't know if everybody appreciates the knit stuff as much as I do, and so I'm not gonna do that again. If somebody asks for things, maybe I will, but otherwise I'm not gonna go like whole hog wild. But because I cleaned out my stash, that's where I was going with this, I swear there was a purpose. Because I cleaned it out, I have space now in the basket to keep larger projects. Oh, I love coffee. And so this is the basket. It is perfect. It sits at the edge of my coffee table. I have a little balcony that is right out there as well, like 3 feet that way. And in cooler mornings, I have been working on this baby blanket I don't know if I mentioned, this is for my sister. She is pregnant. It's the first baby in our generation for my immediate family, and so we're all very excited. And she asked me for these colors. I say baby blanket, but it's not a baby, it's a full-size person's blanket, and so it's too hot to work on it regularly, so I've only been working on it like if there's a really cool evening or a very cool morning. I'll grab my coffee on the weekends and go outside and sit on my balcony and just work on this. This is crocheted. It is a chevron pattern. I believe I got it from TLY Yarn Crafts, who, if you haven't followed her, her name is Tony. She's amazing. I love her YouTube channel. I love her reviews of different yarn and products. And even if you are a knitter and not a crocheter, super valuable content because the way she explains the yarns, how does she describe her? She describes herself as a yarn snob, which I appreciate. Like, I like a really high standard, and I can agree with the standard or not, but it's very informative for me. And she has a whole rating system, and her reviews are just super thorough, and I love them. And so that's where I got the pattern. And so this is the progress I have made. As I said, this is a full-size blanket, y'all. This ain't no really it's not a baby blanket. Let's just be honest with ourselves here. So I can't even fit it all in frame. It is large. It's a chevron pattern, you can see. And I've gotten through almost my second repeat. So it goes from the dark green at the bottom to the lighter green, the gray, and the white, and then dark green, light green, gray, and I'm working on the white. And so almost finished with my second stripe of each. This is mountain themed, which means a lot to my sister. They got married in Alaska in the mountains. They're not finding out a gender for the baby, and so they wanted something to mean something to the family. And so it's kind of like a mountain where you have the heavy vegetation, lighter vegetation, no vegetation, and snow. So really, really cool pattern. Very easy to memorize. I have memorized it. The 2 stripes use up about 1 skein of Big Twist value yarn. And for the project, I bought 2 skeins of each color. So 8 skeins, and I got them on sale. It was like 36 or 38 bucks, and this will be a huge blanket, which is great because my sister, not that I don't think, like I said, small town businesses are worth it, but she found like a 20-inch by 30-inch blanket with these colors on sale at Etsy for like 70 bucks. And I'm like, I told her, no, no. Why don't I make that for half the price and you'll get an actual like adult size blanket versus 20 inches by 30 inches, which is a baby blanket, but for the price, and you know, that does take time. I'm sure it's not just the cost of the materials, but you know, it's family making it. And so she loves it. She's liked all the posts I've ever put about working on it, and this has taken me a really long time, and it'll continue to take me a long time because it's not the only thing I'm working on. Obviously you saw all the other stuff I'm working on, but it's so big that I literally just cover my lap as I'm working on it. And I'll get more work when the weather starts to turn cooler. Thankfully she's not due until December, and so I have time. I've been really wanting to get to the halfway point and to see how much yarn is left over, because this is one of the skeins after the 2 rows, and it starts out as this. So you can see how much yarn I'm using, and I'll use up this before I go to this, but I'll do a total of 4 stripes for each color, and that's it. And I'm not going to do a border, I think, with this. I don't think it's necessary. I could if I wanted to, and I can always change my mind, but I loved reorganizing my stash and just using this wicker basket to hold the whole project, because it can just constantly stay there as one of my ongoing projects, and it's easy to take out onto the balcony and work on outside, and it's just there. So I've been spending time working on that. The last thing that I've been working on, and if you follow me on Instagram, this won't be a surprise for you. My name on Instagram is dudeknits89. I think that's my name. That's my name on Ravelry too. Everywhere else, like on YouTube, it's Dude Knits. Everywhere else is Dude Knits 89. That's the year I was born, in case you're wondering. No secrets there. I have been I couldn't wait. So I purchased the OPUS Shawl by Maxim. There's that knit along going on right now that I'm participating in. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see a lot of my posts involve this. I was like a week late, I think, because I was waiting for my yarn to get in, because I was having trouble finding yarn which I could afford for my price point. I'm also trying to buy a house. I'm looking at that now, and so trying to be conscious of my finances, all that good stuff, but I wanted to use the same type of yarn content that it recommends in the pattern. And the pattern, so this is the Shawl by Maxim, and that's Max on the front. And I love that he's modeling this as a man, just because it's good representation. And I appreciate seeing how someone would wear this shawl, and I'm sure you could wear it a bunch of different ways, but the OPUS shawl. And I can't show you the pattern because it's a paid for pattern, but it does recommend the OPUS yarn, which is 70% Falkland Merino and 30% baby alpaca. So I wanted a combination of merino and alpaca. I just couldn't personally afford all of the OPUS yarn. I'm just being honest, you know, and so I was trying to find something that would be comparable to give me a similar type of fiber content, even if it's not the same exact yarn. And so I was trying to find something to substitute it, which caused me to be a little bit late. But I found at Webb's the Cloudborne, I'm dropping needles. The Cloudborne yarn was very comparable and fit my budget a little bit more. And so this is Cloudborne Fibers. It's a Merino Alpaca Sport, which is, don't mind me, 80% superwash merino, 20% baby alpaca. So not 70-30, but pretty close. And it's Cloudborne Fibers, and I hope it's coming up the right way and it's not backwards. We'll see when I edit the video. But I got this, and my 4 colors are Camel Heather, so this light beige brown. Then we have Autumn Heather, this very nice orange, not neon orange, but very comparable to the brown. And then for my pop of color, I have Fern Heather, which is a nice green. And for what I think of as like the background color, I too went with a gray. This is Graphite Heather. And so the 4 colors together are right here. So I was going for color themes. I wanted something that was more fall feeling to me because I'm really excited for this fall. I can't wait. Fall is one of my favorite seasons. I'm a bigger dude, and so for the knitting, for the wearing like sweaters, and you can also wear shorts out in Wisconsin, I love the fall. It's one of my favorite seasons, so I couldn't wait for it to get here. And so I wanted a fall theme, and I wanted something a little bit different than other folks that are knitting this. Like I said, I was following the hashtag on Instagram, and I could see a lot of people picked very similar colors to Max, or they did go in a complete different direction, and I wanted something that I hadn't seen. And so of the hashtags I saw, nobody had a similar color palette that I was doing, and that could be because I missed it or something else. So, but I did want to do something a little different, and so I am on my 4th repeat of the pattern. And so here it is. I am loving it. I am loving it so much. I am having to work on my tension down at this bottom. These are a little more like my tension in my back end. I like the back too. I love how the back looks. But you can see up here where I've just worked versus down here, these are a lot shorter because I was having issues pulling my tension a little too tight, which causes the fabric to be a little more bunched up. Not that I'm going to redo it because I'm not. I'm hoping it blocks out. And if it doesn't, it's for me, and I'm fine, and I'll live with that. But I really love the back end. And I love how my colors look. I love how they're coming across. I love how it feels like fall to me. The oranges and the browns, but you still have pops of green, like leaves on a tree. I really love it. And so my goal today is actually to finish my 4th repeat, which will absolutely happen. And I just kind of want to keep chipping away at it. I realize this is going to be a very big shawl, and so I don't want to leave it to last end. I want to finish it with the knit along in time. I want to be done ahead of time, but I've loved working on it. It's not something that I typically like take to work on for my lunch break, because usually I'll take some kind of knitting for my lunch break and then work on it then. It's not quite that mindless for me yet. It might get there, but I prefer it on the weekends to get a lot of work done. I'll go to, again, if you follow me on Instagram, our local coffee shop, and I might get breakfast or for sure get a coffee and just work on my knitting, and I've loved it. And I've gotten so many compliments about this specific piece that I've been working on while I've been there, and it's all been positive. I'm a little nervous as a man knitting in public because you never know people's reactions, and I'm openly out. I'm gay. I've been out for 13 odd years, so that's not an issue. It's just, you have to worry about your personal safety sometimes, and depending on where you're at, I don't want anybody to ruin my nice relaxing morning by saying a rude comment, which has never happened with the knitting. I've been very grateful. I've gone to the same coffee shop 2 weekends in a row, and I just get wonderful compliments. Really, people saying, "Oh, it's so wonderful you do that," and which is nice. I mean, I don't go to coffee shops to talk to people. Usually I go there to just relax, and I like to be around people. I do a lot of talking with people during my day job, and so on the weekends it's kind of nice to just be chill, and I've really enjoyed working on this, and so can't wait to see where it goes. I love that you can kind of see the repeat pattern now with the colors and how it all looks, and I can't wait till it's done. It's so gorgeously soft, and I love that it's not two-stranded color work with the and Max says this on his videos, it's slip stitches. That's how you make the design, and so worth every single penny I spent on it. I highly encourage you. I think there's enough time to still join. Check out Les Garçons. That is the YouTube channel by Max and Vince. Again, the pattern name is by Maxim Cyr, C-Y-R. Hold it up there. Is the name. I hope it's focusing. The OPUS Shawl. There's your show notes, folks. Yeah, I love it. I can't wait to work on it. And when it does get a little bit, because it is a bigger project, when I get a little bit more tired of working on it, that's when I've worked on the fingerless mitts, or I'll pick up and work on something else. I don't have many acquisitions to share with you all. I've showed you some of the Red Heart that was on sale at Joann's. So I bought several things of that. I can't wait for my Halloween Advent from Trilogy Yarns. I did purchase the Halloween Advent, which is based on Practical Magic, which is one of my favorite movies with Sandra Bullock. I've loved that movie. I've loved it for years and years, and I watch it every single Halloween. So I couldn't wait, and it's the first Advent I've ever bought, which is definitely an investment in some beautiful yarn. I love watching Nancy, who's the creator behind Trilogy Yarns. She has several Advents in different clubs. I encourage you all to go check those out. I also thankfully got the I can't remember the name of it now. I should have wrote it down. I think it's called Forest Friends from Les Garçons, the new 3-month sock set that just came out. I don't know if that's both Max and Vincent, or if that's Vincent that's leading it, but check out their Instagram. It's there. The design work that Max did on it is amazing, and I know Vincent does amazing dye work, and so I'm really excited to see that. I purchased that, so that will be coming as well. October is going to be a great yarn month for me, but I've been trying not to buy too many other things because you prioritize what you want to get, and so that's why it's been more on sale Red Heart affordable yarns, because I kind of save up the money to buy some of those other things. I did want to show you a different project that came in, though. So this I had bought like 3 or 4 weeks ago now. No, I think it's probably more like a month and a half or 2 months ago, and I haven't started it, but I will. Sorry for the crinkling. So this is from my local yarn shop, which is called the Silver Thimble in Green Bay. And so I bought some yarn from them, and I bought a pattern. And they have these lovely bags that I swear this looked more lovely when I first bought it, but then it's been a month and a half. So I will often re-gift these as wrapped presents, so I can just put it in and tape it shut. It is what it is, folks. That's what I do. Probably not with this bag. Probably not with that bag. So the yarn I bought was Encore Yarn by Plymouth Yarn Company, which is pretty affordable worsted weight knitting yarn, which is 75% acrylic, 25% wool. So it's a blend. And I love those colors together. It just reminds me of Ravenclaw, which if you're a Harry Potter fan, I am a Ravenclaw. And so it's beautiful, it's soft. I was thinking something in brioche with this because I want to do 2-stranded brioche. There's a couple different hats that I was considering, and then I was watching Jonathan Day. If you haven't checked out his podcast, check it out. Jonathan Day, wonderful. I've really enjoyed all the episodes and the recommendations from other folks. I can't remember who I was watching that recommended him, but I didn't did not regret it following him. And he did the ship's hat by who's it by? Flood. Who's Jared Flood? I believe the ship's SHIPPS, I think, which is a brioche hat. And so I will be trying to do that at some point, probably not anytime soon. I've got more than enough other things. I want to do some more whips up because I feel like I want to do whips. But that's what this is intended for. Whether it ends up being that, we'll see. But the other thing I bought was, by again, Plymouth Yarn, Dream Baby DK, and this is called Paint Pot. So 50% acrylic, 50% nylon. Look at that color. Can you see? It's kind of a lovely pastel with a lot of different shades. Again, this will be for my new niece or nephew, and I bought the pattern that goes with it. And so this is, you fold the pattern so you can't see it, Dream Baby Toddler Socks. So look at those lovely little socks. Oh, I can't wait. So that's what I'm going to be making, and these will be really quick to do. It fits 6 to 12 months, or the other size is 18 to 24 months, and so I love everything about it. This will be happening soon, probably again when I need a break from my bigger projects, the shawl or the blanket, or the bigger things. I'll work on this because this will be a day or maybe 2 day at the most project. So and I love the colors because they'll match no matter what. And yeah, otherwise, how have things been going? I've been good lately. It's stressful, like I said, with the job, but that happens every year this time of year. I was thankful. One of the other podcasts I watch is We Share Needles, and I love those two gals. They're hilarious. They're really fun. They recently did some Zoom knitting nights, and I got to hop on Saturday, and so I hung out with them for like an hour and a half, and I was late, and so they stayed. People from all over the world. It was great. I would definitely want to do something like that again. I haven't had a lot of chances to do in-person or Zoom virtual knit nights with folks, and so I would love to continue going to different things. I really want to go to fiber festivals and just meet other people in the knitting and fiber arts community. It just hasn't happened for me yet, so it will. I'm not going to Rhinebeck or other things. Like I said, I'm trying to save up for a house right now and do some other things, but if there's ever things happening in Wisconsin, I would love to go. Heck, even Chicago, if I could pre-plan and there wasn't a pandemic happening, I would love to go. It's just not happening yet, and so we'll see what happens. But that's where I'm at. It's going to be a busy week this week. First week of school is happening, which is always busy. So I will definitely continue knitting. I'll continue hitting up the gym. That's been going really well these last couple weeks. I've needed the stress reduction of going and getting a good workout in. So I'm probably going to go in the next hour or two is hit up the gym, come back and do some meal prepping, do a little laundry, and be ready for the week. Do more knitting. I love it. So the only stressful thing about the gym, which made me had a really good workout yesterday, is they've recently closed down, not my gym, but the gym like one of the townships over. And so all those folks, because they're affiliated, have started coming to this gym, which has made it very busy, very packed, which I don't always like. I know it's a community gym though, so it's like not my stuff, it's our stuff. That's what I tell myself. They're extending the hours next week, which will be good for everybody. And they also brought a bunch of the equipment from the gym over, which I wasn't super happy with because they moved some of my favorite machines, and I think they're getting rid of them. And I didn't know they were going to do that, so I had a stressful day, and I came in to get some stress relief, and then all the things weren't where I thought they were. The layout had changed, which was frustrating, which was good for my workout. It was really good because it provided motivation. And one of the quotes that I live by is, change will happen no matter what. You can either accept change or you can go into it kicking and screaming. The choice is yours. So yesterday it was definitely a kicking and screaming type of day for me. I was super not happy. I was pissed. Which those changes need to happen, and some of the equipment was newer. I just didn't like the replacement of the equipment. Today I think it'll be more accepting, and it won't be such a shock when I go in there. I'm fine with change. It's just I need some touchstones, and the gym is one of my touchstones. So yeah, so that's what's been going on in my life. My family's been great. I haven't seen a lot of them at this. This is the type of year where people usually text or call me and say, "Hey, are you doing okay? Like, are you alive? We haven't heard from you." It happens every year. Every year we get busy. Every year I go too long without using any of my vacation days, without seeing people in my life, and so a week or two, the time period will turn, and I'll go back to a little more of a routine. We'll get settled in. I'll use more vacation days and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I'm glad I could do this podcast.